Digital Marketing Radio, episode 126. What metrics should you be tracking to measure your SEO success?
DigitalMarketingRadio.com.
Today's episode is brought to you by Aweber. Build your email list, engage your subscribers, do email the right way. I've arranged a special deal for all Digital Marketing Radio listeners, and that's a 60-day free trial with the email marketing software provider I use, Aweber. Lock in your 60-day free trial, plus view a video that I've recorded on the 3 reasons why I use their service at aweber.com/DMR. So just go to aweber.com/DMR to get started today.
The big interview with David Bain.
I'm David Bain, and this is Digital Marketing Radio, weekly interviews with online marketing gurus. Catch up with all the previous episodes at digitalmarketingradio.com. Now, today I'm joined by a man who started his own digital agency in 2007 and transformed it into an SEO-focused agency in 2012, quickly becoming a leader in the Romanian market. Welcome to DMR, Cosmin Negrescu.
Hey, thank you for having me tonight.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, it's great to have you here. Well, so you can find Cosmin over at SEOmonitor.com. So, Cosmin, is being a good SEO all about being a good scientist, would you say? Just knowing the figures, knowing the formulae, or do you need to be an artist as well to be a great SEO?
Oh, I think today you have to be an all-in-wonder to be a very good SEO. So it's not only like being a scientist, but you have to be a good marketer. You have to be a good communicator, a good project manager. You need the people skills because you have to work with lots of people in order to implement your ideas. So I think first it's hard to be just an SEO. You need more like a team in order to do SEO today. But being a scientist definitely helps a lot.
Okay, and so the thing I was wondering is, if you're a good scientist, does that mean that you're naturally less likely to be a good communicator, a good content marketer as well? Is it really possible to have both hats on and do everything?
I think you can have the both hats on, but you will not be as good as one that focuses on his thing. So I think it's good to have a little bit of everything and put all the pieces together and try to find people that are very good in their field in order to implement your ideas.
Okay, so obviously SEO has changed quite a bit over the last few years. Well, what would you say are the main changes that you've seen since you've become heavily involved in SEO?
The biggest change is that we're not spamming anymore.
Are you missing spamming?
Not really. No, I really enjoy this age of SEO. All this focus on building high quality content, engaging people with the content, earning links. I think that's the way we should do it, and I think it's more fun.
So are you saying that it's not right at all to ask for links nowadays?
Asking for links, no, I don't think that's a good approach. I think you should really earn them. And there are so many possibilities to do that.
Not even if you pick up the phone to someone or ask someone face to face. Obviously, you don't particularly want an email record of you sending out an email. And
Of course.
Yeah.
But the chances to get the link and to be an important one are not so high.
Yeah. I mean, it's lovely how it's evolved, certainly, because I've been involved in SEO for a long time myself as well, and I remember the days when you could rank very high for competitive keyword terms for doing things like submitting articles and even doing horrible things like spinning text within articles as well, and it's more fulfilling to be involved with SEO now.
For sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, let's talk metrics then. What would you say are the most important metrics to consider tracking in SEO now to see how well you're doing?
So there's a specific approach that we developed for our agency, and because it worked, we translated that into our app, SEOmonitor.com. So from the first moment we switched to focus SEO company, we started to feel that what we were measuring was not right, was misleading. For example, in 2013, not provided went up to 80% plus, and that was a big issue because we couldn't get the non-brand organic traffic anymore. So we couldn't filter by keywords. And I think that's the first step in measuring SEO performance as something that can translate in visits and revenue as a final result. So the first thing that we need to do is to segment the organic traffic in branded and non-branded. And that's because the branded traffic is really another form of direct traffic. It's the same thing if I can be in the same stage as a visitor if I'm searching for Amazon in Google, or I'm just writing their address in the browser. So in order to look at the SEO performance and to take credits for that, we really need to split the two. And because we were only offering SEO services, we were just one piece in our clients' marketing. So we had to really be good at communicating our results. And that was an important move we did. We took the keywords on landing pages from Google Webmaster Tools because they are still visible there, and the traffic data on landing pages from Google Analytics or other tracking software, and we merged the data to landing page. So we take the visits and the conversions and bounce rate and every other metric on each landing page from organic traffic, and we distribute them proportionally to their correspondent keywords in Google Webmaster Tools, our search console today.
Okay, so even though Google are hiding the majority of the phrases that people are typing in for organic keyword phrases, you can still get a lot of good quality information out of Google Analytics. Yeah,
it's pretty accurate. It's the most accurate way we can do it.
Okay, and do you think that the usefulness of Google Search Console is improving now? Are they continually adding more aspects to it to actually make it more useful for webmasters?
In some ways, yes, but they are trying to limit the information that we can access. So with the new Search Console, we can now see up to 1,000 rows. So that's it's a bigger limitation than we had before. So they are giving something, they are taking something.
Yeah. And are you still confident that they will be providing this information in a year's time, in 2 years' time? Are you concerned that they might take even more away in the future?
I think they will keep the data there, but even if they will remove it, the keyword data, we can still find ways to get something with lower accuracy, like we can search for keywords in SEMrush data.
Okay. So
we still have some leverages there, but definitely it will impact the accuracy.
Right. Okay. So would you say that most smaller businesses are aware of looking at data within Google Analytics or Webmaster Tools, or not really? Most small businesses just don't know much about that kind of thing.
For sure, they're looking in Google Analytics, but I think they are not using it. They are not make the most out of it. They don't use the really valuable insights from Google Webmaster Tools and Analytics, of course.
So if someone was just logging into Google Analytics and the Search Console, what are the most important metrics to be looking at within there then?
If we are talking about SEO,
Yeah.
Of course, it's good to understand more about the demographics, to understand what is the audience that we have there. And we have plenty of information. We also can find so much information about their experience on the website. What are the pages? Which are the pages that lose the traffic the most, and try to understand and get some insights in how to keep them there and convert them. Because most of the traffic is for sure lost. So you can find different ways to get at least their details into HubSpot.
Okay. So HubSpot's a tool that you use, is it?
Oh yes, and
Yeah.
it's one of those tools that I can't live without.
Okay. You're jumping to the next section here. uh,
You asked me about the metrics that we should measure today for SEO performance, and
yeah.
I've told you about the non-brand organic traffic, which I think is very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something more. We still need those rankings because the rankings are the core SEO measurement. But there's a problem with the rankings. We need rankings for thousands of keywords in order to have a pool of data that is relevant. The problem when we do that is that we can't understand if we're going better or worse from one day to another, because there are too many and they are so different. They have different search volumes, they have different trends, they have different ranks. And if we don't measure that, we don't put that into one indicator, we will not get something relevant. And I think this is the most important thing that we're doing right now is the visibility score.
Right.
And what we do is when we look at a list of keywords and we have their ranks and their search volumes, we put everything together. So we take into consideration the ranks and their corresponding CTR and the search volumes to really understand how visible we are. And if we lose a good position on a high search volume keyword, it will impact more the visibility score than a low search volume keyword. And that's something that we need in order to do this empirical process of learning from our actions. So in order to correlate our activities with the results that we get, we need this visibility score because it's fast, it's accurate, it's easy to measure, and that way we understand we did that and that's the result. And we can segment and isolate some of the activities and the results, putting different, calculating different visibility scores on landing pages that are triggered by a specific list of keywords or keywords that we're optimizing for on page or on site. So that's something very important because we can learn something from other experts' experience, reading blog articles or attending conferences or having a chat about a subject. But we take that and we have to validate it. It's not that it will work for sure in our circumstances, in our market, in this moment, not 2 weeks ago when it worked for somebody else, and in our industry or our client's industry. So we can take ideas and we test them using the visibility score, because that way we have a metric and we can measure the results of our activities. And after that, we translate the visibility into non-brand organic traffic and we look at the results. And that's the way we also gain some control when we estimate our results, when we do our forecast and try to understand where we can get in 12 months from now, for example.
But can a visibility score also give you an indication of the volume of traffic as well? Or is it simply an indicator as to how you are performing in relation to the keyword phrases that you rank somewhere for?
It can be translated in traffic, of course. using some CTRs from each keyword rank with the corresponding search volume, so we can estimate the traffic. That's how we estimate the traffic of the competitors. But that's not the real value of this indicator. It just brings a new way of understanding if you're doing good or not in search engines.
So it's a better metric then for an SEO professional to report to a marketing director with then?
It's the visibility score is not that tangible as the traffic is, but the visibility score can it's like measuring apples with apples, comparing apples to apples, and that's very important because you have the initial state when you started the campaign, for example, and the final state, and you can now see the results in visibility in rankings. And if you put that on the non-brand organic traffic chart, you can understand where the non-brand organic traffic was influenced by the visibility and when by seasonality. That's the problem with looking only at the organic traffic, even if you have the non-brand organic traffic. The major problem is that it has seasonality trends. It can have a different trend in summer than in spring, or in weekends than in workdays. So we isolate that seasonality, and we take the visibility score to go through the feedback loop and the empirical process and find our way to achieve the goal that we set up.
Got you. Okay. So it's more of a light rather than a destination.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. You said it very, very good.
Okay. You mentioned the word demographics as well earlier on. I'm also intrigued about your experience within the Romanian market compared with the UK and maybe the US as well. Do you find that Google's search algorithm is quite different in different countries? Is it possible to rank websites in, for instance, Romania more easily or using different techniques compared with the UK? Or is that not something you've really seen?
It's clear that Google's algorithm is working differently, depending more on how the industry in that specific market is doing their marketing.
Right.
We still have industries in which the exact match domain is not affecting their SEO performance, and that's because no one has a brand there. So
right.
if there's an industry without a powerful brand or brands, you can still rank for exact match domains. But the difference between the markets is their dimension. So here, for example, the biggest e-commerce has about 2 million searches per month over their brand name. And maybe in the UK, it's much more higher, the searches on the brand. So it's clear that it will be harder for a startup to rank there. Mm-hmm. So it's more about the industry in a specific market that will change the difficulty level of a campaign.
Got you. Okay, so what you're saying is that it's not necessarily that Google's algorithm has started off differently. It's just that it hasn't had the opportunity to learn because the market isn't as evolved.
I think it is learning, but it is adapting to the circumstances of that particular niche in that market. So if we are average, an average website will rank. If there's a high, a very powerful brand and with a lot of marketing activity, to be harder to get there if you don't follow the same activity level.
Got you. Okay, and just to close off this section, I'd just like to get your thoughts a little on the future of SEO. So we see things like Apple and perhaps Facebook evolving. We see things like voice search evolving. What do you think are some of the most important considerations going to be over the next year or two for the future of SEO?
So first, I don't think SEO will ever die if we will still use search engines.
Yeah.
It will just adapt to the new rules. So I'm not really scared or concerned about how the search engines will evolve, because I know for sure that we will follow their rules. We are following the rules. We don't innovate in any way other than continuing to do what it is working today. So we don't spam anymore. We do more content marketing. We try to build brands. We adapt to the new rules that Google sets, or whatever new search engine will set. As if we are still searching in Google, even if they will personalize the search results for each person, for sure we will understand what we have to do to be more visible there. So we just adapt, and that's our mission with our product, with SEO Monitor. We just try to bring a new approach that helps us as SEOs to cope with this challenging environment, with this environment of extreme uncertainty.
So, I could think of so many other questions actually moving on from that, but you've given us a lot to think about already in that section there. So I'll tell you what, let's segue into the second section of our discussion. So that focuses more on where your thoughts on digital marketing in general has been and where it's heading. So starting off with
software I couldn't live without.
So what software do you currently use in your business that if someone took away from you, it would significantly impact your marketing success?
So first, I think it will hurt a lot if I wouldn't have Google Apps.
Okay.
So it's not about marketing; it's about productivity of my team. So I would definitely can't live without Google Apps. And if we're talking about the marketing of our product, HubSpot is definitely on the list, and it's on the first place. And that's because it does magical stuff there, tracking everything and giving us the possibility to have different client profiles and understand their activity and have some insights and automate marketing and communication. That's something amazing.
HubSpot. Okay, that's interesting. And here's a slightly more challenging question, though. What piece of software don't you use, but you've heard good things about, and you intend to try at some point in the near future?
So our CTO insists that I should start using LastPass.
What's it called? Sorry.
LastPass is a software.
LastPass. Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But
they've just been bought by another company recently.
I
can't remember who it was, but they've been.
I will definitely start using it. But I'm sure there are lots of great tools out there. It's really hard to prioritize this tool discovery until it really hurts. So that's our real challenge with SEO Monitor, because we know we've built a great tool, but it's really hard to get that minimum attention span of our audience to really see the benefits of the product.
Okay. Well, I'll include links to all the software that you recommended and mentioned there within the show notes, certainly here.
Of course, our agency is using all the tools that everybody is recommending, like BuzzSumo, BuzzStream, SEMrush, Majestic, and DeepCrawl for technical analysis. They are all great tools.
Now you're just trying to give me a lot of work by finding all those links to include in the show notes. No problem. No, they're great results.
They earned the links. They really earned them. So they're a great product.
Exactly. Absolutely. And moving on to...
I wish I would have.
I'd like you to look back in the very first day that you're involved in trying to market a business online. What didn't you do so well? What do you wish that you would have done differently?
Wow, it took me 5 years to learn a very important word, which is focus.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started in 2007, my agency was delivering all kind of digital marketing services. And after 5 years, I learned that if I'm focusing on just one niche, on just one market, one specific client profile, we will definitely succeed. So that was a very important moment in my career. And it made a synergy with the Blue Ocean strategy. And that's why we started to focus only on SEO in 2012. It was because if you're a startup or you're a small company, you have limited resources. So if you focus those resources on just one thing, you will definitely succeed there. And if you have the opportunity to be a blue ocean strategy, so when it's an unexplored market, something that is not really doesn't have a big competition there. It's not a red ocean. If all the fish are going in this direction, the idea of the blue ocean strategy is to go in the other direction, to explore new territories. So in our market, this industry of search engine optimization was very low. There were very big brands that were not accessing the service at that moment. So that was an opportunity for us to focus and go directly to that client profile, and we succeeded.
So do you think that you're focused enough now, or do you think you can get even more focused than you currently are?
For sure, we're focused with the agency and the product as well. The product is not doing everything; it's not solving all the problems in SEO. We're just trying to bring a very good approach in measuring SEO, because that way, I think we gain more control in this challenging environment. Of course, there's another defocusing issue when you're focusing on the product and on one business, but you're defocused inside the company, inside the product. So we can start different, more features or different things that can affect our productivity.
And do you base your product development based upon what you think is right to do, or is it largely your customer requests that drive future development?
So at the beginning, in the beginning, we started with our agency. Our agency was the first client of the product, so that's why we were sure we were building something valuable, because we solved the problems of our agencies, and we thought there are so many agencies out there that need the same solution. So after we launched and we started to have other clients, we started to listen to them. Of course, we have our direction. We know exactly where we're going, but we prioritize features depending on the feedback of our clients. But we had feedback that we didn't implement because it wasn't aligned with our vision.
Okay, good answer. Okay, let's move on to
the this or that round.
So this is the quick response round. 10 quick questions and just 2 rows here. Try not to think about the answer too much. And you're only allowed to say the word on one occasion. So ready to go. Email or Twitter?
Email.
Audio or video?
Video.
Affiliates or display advertising?
Affiliates.
Facebook or Google Plus?
Facebook.
Online press releases or one-on-one relations?
One-on-one relations.
Paid search or SEO?
Of course, SEO.
Email contact form or telephone number?
Email contact form.
Website or app?
Website.
Social subscriber or email subscriber?
Both.
And local marketing or global marketing?
It depends, but we want global marketing.
So, social subscriber or email subscriber was both. Majority people, the vast majority of people favor email subscriber over social subscriber. So do you think that social has a significant impact on SEO?
Yes, for sure. We think the engagement that we get on our on all the content that we publish and will give us more visibility and more SEO power to our website. It's not the social signals directly, but it's more an indirect signal.
Okay. Well, moving on to
The $10,000 question.
if I was to give you $10,000 and you had to spend it over the next few days on a single thing to grow your business, what would you spend it on, and how would you measure success?
That's funny because the partners from our investment fund asked me the same question, but with 2 million.
I'm not going to give you 2 million. I'm not even going to give you 10,000, but let's pretend.
But with 10,000, I will travel to meet people that could help me grow the business.
Incredible. Okay. And you wouldn't do the same with 2 million, would you?
Of course. That's another thing.
Okay, so that's intriguing that your answer relates to relationships rather than anything in terms of driving traffic to your site. How do you measure the actual ROI of a relationship?
That's a good question. So I don't jump to start from the beginning to measure the success of the relation. But more, I'm looking back and connect the dots, and I find sometimes some really important links to the moment that we are right now, like in my career with our company. And it is very interesting to do that, to just think how many important things, good things happened just because you met one person, and you at that moment you wouldn't think about having such a great impact in your future.
Okay, so if you are a business that isn't confident with your product or service at the moment, rather than spend any money on marketing it, probably the best thing you can do is build relationships, would you say?
For sure.
Yeah. Intriguing. Okay, that just takes us up to
my number one takeaway.
So, Cosmin, you've offered a lot of great advice in our conversation, lots of interesting information, but what's the number one takeaway? What's the single most important step that our listeners need to take away and implement in their businesses?
So I think if it's just one advice, I would say the focus one. If from me as an entrepreneur and the marketer, it's the focus on the product or service that I want to market and to grow that is very important. Is the focus on the area where we think we are great for the people that need the most the solution that we're building or the service that we're providing.
Have you read the book, The One Thing?
Not yet.
No, it's I do another podcast called Business Book of the Month, businessbookofthemonth.com. It's on Blab as well, on just on a monthly basis. And me and three other podcasters in the UK all read the same book every month and then review it as part of a discussion. So last month we read The One Thing, and that sounded like that's what you were talking about. Because the one thing is all about distilling everything you do into where are you going ultimately and what are you doing today. What's the most important one thing that you should be doing in order to accomplish that one most important long-term goal? So very interesting book.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. I learned the focus thing from some professors from the MIT.
Okay.
Back in 2012 when I joined a business mentoring program. But then I found many books and articles where I read the same thing. The problem is that most of the times we read some very good advice, but we don't implement it.
It's knowing what advice to implement, because it's easy to get advice from many people in many places, but it's knowing what advice to say no to and what advice to run with and implement in your business.
I think it's the experience that matters. So we can get advice at some point, and we can implement it 2 years after, just because we connected some ideas, and our experience will give us the gut feeling that now is the moment to implement that particular idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I reckon that takes us to the end of our discussion today. So thank you so much for your time and your advice. What's the best way for our audience to find out more about you and what you do?
Oh, I travel a lot. I attend most of the important events in the search industry. And of course, the classical ways now, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook.
Well, we'll include links to SEOmonitor.com and your Twitter and all the other links you mentioned in the show notes at digitalmarketingradio.com. So wonderful. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, David.
And thank you, dear listener, as well, for joining us as well. So if you like what you heard, I'd really appreciate your feedback. So if you're listening to this as an audio podcast on iTunes, just go to digitalmarketingradio.com/iTunes. That'll open up the app, and hopefully you can find it in your heart to leave an honest rating and review. That'd be fab. And finally, I'm also hosting a brand new live show every Friday called This Week in Organic. So head over to thisweekinorganic.com to find out more about that. And that actually just redirects back to a blab as well. So I'm doing that in blab as well. So that's all for now. Until we meet again, adios. And thank you again, Cosmin.